So let's start with where we left yesterday. Okay, a small recap what we have covered so far yesterday. So I do one thing. I'll just start with my PyCharm and we'll go through with the code itself and where I'm going to explain you what we have covered yesterday and what is our today's agenda. So we will see like what is our today's agenda and we'll even see what we have covered yesterday so far. So we created a project with the name Python Basics where we have started with some sort of files. So let's start with Python basics, correct? And now when I started with the Python basics over here, this is one of the file that we created yesterday, that is basics.py. Whereas we have studied some basics of Python where we have studied about how to take input from a user. Then we have studied about the basic rules of converging, that is type conversions, how the variable will change its own type. Then the example that we have studied so far yesterday, age and gender, and again the age and gender with if loops. We have studied for loop, we have studied for while loop, and maybe we studied about break and continue statement. Then the last topic that we covered was a string, where we learned about string. We started with the string. The last topic that we covered was string, correct? So that's it. That's it where we have ended up. And our today's agenda is to cover functions, file operations, and this is over there. That is data structure. So we have to cover lists, dictionaries, and tuples. So let me start with functions first of all. So let's create a new file over here and I'll just give it as day2, maybe file name as day2, day2.py. You guys can give any name to this particular file. That's all up to you, right? So let's go ahead with understanding of basic functions. What exactly are functions in Python? Correct. So guys, when you say functions, there are basically two types of functions in Python. One is fruitful function and another one is non-fruitful function. Now, what exactly is fruitful function and what exactly is non-fruitful function? A function which is returning a value is considered to be a fruitful function, and function which is not returning a value is considered to be a not non-fruitful function. Now, what is the basic purpose of a function? Whensoever you want to repeat anything, if you ever wanted to repeat anything, like you want to write some code again and again, again and again, then in that case, we prefer to write a function, correct? So instead of repetition of same code, we do write a function. Now, what helps over here, and why do we prefer to write code in functions rather than using a normal code, or rather than writing the same code again and again? Now, as we discussed yesterday, the job of a software engineer is to always play a role, and where we do play a role for two things, right? One is space and another one is time, correct? Now, if suppose I have a function where I want to, maybe I have a line of code where I have to perform addition, subtraction, and multiplication, the three operations, correct? So either I have to write the three lines again and again, again and again, or maybe I'll write a single function which is going to perform all this operation for me, and I'll call that function again and again. Now, what is happening when I'm going to write a function and call that function again and again? In this case, I have to write only once and then I have to call that function and again, which is actually saving my time and my space both at the same time. Correct? So let's start writing the code and let's try to understand this in more better manner. Now, how to declare a function? Basically, when you say Python, in Python, we don't call it as function, we call it as definition. And that's why we always declare a definition with def keyword. So def is the reserved keyword for definition. So let's start with def, that is definition. Then you may add like, if this is a function for addition, so I may add like addition, something like this. And if your function is taking any sort of argument, so please specify those arguments over here. So maybe I specified a and b over here. Now if you ever wanted to perform any sort of operation on it, maybe I want to perform a plus b, so I can say c is equals to a plus b. So this is how you can perform operation inside a function. And if you ever wanted to print the value, so just say print c, simple enough. So this is how you declare a non-fruitful function, because this function is not returning any sort of value. That's why I consider this function as a non-fruitful function. Whereas let me create one more function over there, def subtraction, something like this, and I'll put a comma b inside it, and I'll say c is equals to a minus b. Now if I just say print c, or not print c, I'll just specify return statement. So I say return c, correct? So I have performed two operations over here. One is addition, whereas I'm just printing the value of c inside addition. Next is subtraction, where I'm just returning the value for C after subtraction, correct? Now here, this is an example for a non-fruitful function, whereas this is an example for a fruitful function, because it's going to return some value and this function is not returning any sort of value. Now if I call addition, so I just go to addition, and if I set the values like 20 comma 30, now it's going to print the value for me. Let me execute this. I'll just right click on it and I'll just say run day 2, and here you can see, guys, at the bottom I'm able to get the value, so it's showing me 50, something like that, correct? Just because I called to the addition part. Now that then there is subtraction, so as if I execute this, okay, let me call the subtraction first. So how to call a fruitful function? I'll just take an output in some variable, maybe called as output equals to subtraction, where I'll put the values as 40 comma 30, something like that, where 40 minus 30 and the output will be there in an output variable. Now as if I execute this, okay, I have to print the output variable too, so I'll just say print output, and now as if I execute this, you can see the output where I'm getting the output as 10. I hope that I made the points very clear. So just a small recap. A function which is returning a value is considered to be a fruitful function. A function which is not returning a value is considered to be a non-fruitful function. The values that you are passing is called as parameters. The values that you are receiving is called as arguments. I hope it is all clear till now for the functions. There are two more important types of functions. Whether it's an inbuilt function, that means we have like input, type, and many other functions. Even print is a function, correct? So either the function will be an inbuilt function, or the function will be a custom function that you created by yourself. So like here, the subtraction and the addition is called as a custom function that is created by us, whereas addition is a non-fruitful function and subtraction is a fruitful function. Whereas input or print, these are inbuilt functions which are available in Python itself by default. Now, what exactly is the advantage part of a functions in Python? Correct. Although we are going to learn more about functions in the further classes when we are going to talk about the advanced topics, like when we'll learn about decorators, iterators, generators, non-local functions, and many other things. So when we are going to learn about such kind of topics, in that time we'll learn more about functions in Python. But one best part of functions that I would love to explain you at this moment is, and this is very rarely possible with lots of languages. So Python do support it very well. So that's why we say that Python does not support encapsulation. Now what exactly is encapsulation? That we are going to learn tomorrow when we learn about object oriented programming, correct? But at this moment I would love to just give you one best part of Python. So if suppose for performing addition and subtraction, I am declaring two functions over here. Function number 1 is addition and function number 2 is subtraction. Although I can perform both the operations inside a single function itself, so I may declare def operation, operation operation, where I'll pass the value for a comma b, and here I'm going to perform two operations over here. Add is equals to a plus b, a plus b, whereas subtraction, so I'll say sub is equals to a minus b. So I have addition, I have subtraction. Now if you ever wanted to return two values, so this is very rarely possible with majority of the languages. If you ever wanted to return two values in Python, you just specify a return add comma sub. Simple. So add comma sub. As if you specify add comma sub, it's okay. You are allowed to return two values from a single function, which is very rare possible with other languages. And if you try to compare Python with C, even this is not possible with C programming language. Now I would love to just comment all these three lines. So let's comment all these three lines. And now as I'm returning the two values, I can just say output is equals to operations, and I'll put the values like 20 comma 30. Now I'll just say print output, and as if you print output, let's run that. So you can see 20 plus 30 is 50, 20 minus 30 is 10. So I got two values over here. Sir, I don't want to receive these two values like this as a two values. I want to receive as a single values. In one variable there has to be one value, and another variable there has to be another value. It's okay. So how you can add that? So you just do it over there. So I just say A, that is for addition, S for subtraction, and now your A is having the addition part and S is having a subtraction part. So I just go and I'll say print S. Now my S is having a subtraction part. Now let's execute this over here. right click, run, and as I executed this, now you can see this is my value for A and this is my value for S. That's it for subtraction. That's it for functions. And now guys, from a feedback that I received yesterday, right, some of the students, they told me that sir, it will be better if you can give us a time to do practice, correct? So now I think like I'll love to give you 2 minutes time to do practice by yourself. So do practice it by yourself in your system. Maybe you have like maybe 3 minutes time. Just practice the basics of functions. That's it. So these are the functions that we have studied so far. Do it. So you have 5 minutes time. Maybe you can say take 5 minutes time and do practical for the same. You have 5 minutes time to practical for the same. 2 minutes time. I'll put the class on hold for next 2 minutes. You guys can continue with your practical. Do it. 2 minutes time. Do it by yourself. Do it, guys. Just learn basics about functions. Sir, keyword arbitrary function. Please like name star username. Aditya. Maybe. What you are asking me? I'm not able to understand your question. Aditya Dande. Gunjan Chandak. Hi Gunjan. Gayatri. Hello. Abhimanyu. Yes, you are late, dear. Okay, so I hope that that's more than sufficient for you to do practice on Python on functions. I would love to comment all this part, and now we are moving ahead with file operations. Now let's go ahead and try to understand what are file operations in Python, and we will even talk about some common problems that comes when you talk about file operations in Python. So I just comment all this related to functions, and will give a heading over here. So just comment all this, comment. At the end of the class, I'll put the same this particular coding into the same list, or maybe the same Google Drive that I shared with all of you yesterday, right? So I'll just give a comment over here. These are functions, correct? Now let's go ahead with the next topic, and the next topic is file operations. So let's talk about file operations now. File operations, correct? Now basically when you talk about file operations, there are two major operations that we always talk in file. So either you will write something inside a file or you will read something from a file. So either you will write inside a file or you will read from a file, correct? Now let's try to understand how we can perform file operations in Python. First of all, let's talk about file. If I talk about Microsoft Windows, maybe if I talk about Microsoft Windows, right, or any other software, what operation do you perform whenever you wanted to read a file in a particular software? You go to file, you click on open, and then you start reading that particular file, correct? Now the same thing that you have to do in Python. You have to open a file inside a pointer. So if I take a pointer variable as fhandle is equals to specify open. Now this open function will allow me to open a file. Let me open a file as maybe readme.txt. Now you can open a file in three modes. Mode number one, either in read mode. Mode number two, either in write mode or in append mode, that is A. So if you ever wanted to open a file in read mode, you open it with R. If you want to open a file in write mode, you open with W. If you want to open a file with append mode, you open it with A. Let me open a file with W and I'll explain you what is the difference between W and A at this moment. Now when I try to open a file with W, let me start writing something inside that particular file. So if you ever wanted to write anything inside a file, just specify fndl.write and you can specify any data that if you wanted to specify. So I'll just say hello, my name is Mahesh, something like this. And if you want to close it, just say fndl.close. Remember guys, whenever you are performing any sort of operation over the file, it is very much important to close the file. It's very much important to close the file because file is considered to be a resource, and when you are actually working in an organization, resources are something that we always share with the people, right? So it may be a chance that if you are working on some file, maybe some other person at the same time need that particular file, right? So that's why we always try to close the file so that if I'm done with the operation over the file, it's okay. Now you can take the control over the file. Now let's run the code, and as if I execute this particular code, you can see there is no output because we are not printing anything over there. Whereas here you can see there is new file automatically created. Now what this write will do here is it will check for the file whether that particular file is present or not. If the file is present, then it's okay. It will go and write the data inside a file, right? Whereas if the file is not present, it will create that file and make it available for you. So here you can see that I have a file with me now with the name readme.txt where the same text is written over here. Now let's go and change the text over here. Hello, my name is Mahesh and I am a trainer. So if I just change the text over here. Now as soon as I execute this, as soon as I executed this, you can see there is no output here. But if I go to readme.txt, the complete sentence, the complete string changed now. Now that is what the W mode do over here. When you say W, W means write the content into the file, but it will not only write the content into the file, it will overwrite the content. So whatsoever is previously written over there inside a file, it will overwrite the content with the new content over there. So that is what W is. Now what do like this A means over here? So if I have A, that is append mode. Let me go over there and if I just say I'm a trainer, I do teach technology. So if I say I'm a trainer, I do teach technology, and as if I run the code, you can see that still there is no output over there, but here you can see I am a trainer. This was the previous line, and I do teach technology, a new line added to the save file. I may go and say like, sir, I want everything should be written in the next line. Okay, if you want everything should be written in the next line, better you can write over there, how are you? Or maybe I'll just say, how are you? Something like this. And if you wanted to write everything in next line, just specify \n. So \n, how are you? Now let's execute this. No output here again, but here you can see the new line, like everything is written in the new line. This how are you is in the new line, correct? So this is how you can write the data into the file. Oh, so append mode is to write the data continuously inside a file in the same file. Write mode, if you ever wanted to overwrite the data which is already written inside a file and you want to overwrite it, so that can be done with the help of write mode. Pretty clear, pretty okay. Now how to read the data? We are done with the write operation. Now we are going to understand how to read the data from a file. So what I'm going to do here is let me just comment everything from here. Comment for write operations. Now I'm going to perform read operations. Again, for read operations, you have to open a file. So fndl open, specify the file name. So my file name is readme.txt, and now I'll specify R. That is, I want to open a file in the read mode. Sir, I have one small question here. If I do not specify R, then what will happen? If I do not specify any mode over there, then what will happen? Basically, if you do not specify any mode over there, every time your file will get open in read mode only by default. So either you specify R, or if you do not specify R, it's okay. It's going to be open in read mode only. Now start reading the data. So now to read the data, there are two ways to read the data from a file. Either one way is, either you can read the complete file whole at a time once, right? Or else you can read the file line by line. So let's try to understand how you can read the whole file at all at once. So if just specify data is equals to fndl dot read, and that's it. You have a data inside of a data variable. I'll just say print data, and I'll just say fndl dot close. So this is one way to read the data all at once. So there are two important functions over here. Function number one, write, which will allow you directly to write inside a file. Function number two, read, which allows you to directly read from a file. Now let's execute this, and as soon as I execute it, you can see the data which is written inside that particular file. I'm able to read it inside my program. That's cool. That's great enough. Perfectly fine. Guys, please do understand this topic. These topics are most important. Maybe within 2 days, like tomorrow is our bit advanced day, and day after tomorrow, when we learn about scrapping, when we are going to learn about project, right? In that project, I will be using this files operation functions, right? So please try to understand in more better manner, correct? So let's go ahead, and I'll just make this all comment, because this is how to read a file all at once, correct? Now let's try to understand and read the file line by line. So if I say fndl is equals to open readme.txt. Now let's see how we can read the file line by line. So if you ever wanted to read the file line by line, you just have to use for loop for line in fndl, and now just say print line. So simple enough. This line is holding a line by line data from a fndl, and if you ever wanted to close it, so just specify fndl dot close, and you're good to go. Now as if I run the code, you can see I'm getting line by line the same data line by line. So this is how you can read the data line by line. This is how you can read the data all at once, and this is how you can write the data into the file. Correct. Good to go. Perfectly fine. Now, what kind of operations that I can perform on file? So we have studied the three, or maybe you can say two basic operations: how to write the data into a file, and how to read the data into a file, read the data from a file. Pretty simple, pretty okay. Now consider, for time being, if I wanted to calculate, let's see, if I wanted to calculate, or maybe if I want to check whether particular word is present inside a file or not. So maybe if suppose I have a file, and maybe there is some text written inside a file. So if I write down some text like Mahesh is my name, I am a trainer, I do teach technology, and maybe I add up something like my email address is me@maheshrakheja.com, something like this, correct? So I have some text written with me, and I want to check whether particular word, that means like maybe tech, 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 not tech, teach. So maybe trainer word. So maybe trainer word is present inside a file or not. I want to just check whether that particular word is present inside a file or not. Simple enough, cool enough. So how can I do that? So I'll just open a file, or maybe I'll just say fndl is equals to open readme.txt. Now I'll just go over there, because I want to check whether this particular word, that means trainer word, is present or not. So I'll just read the data first. So I'll just say data is equals to fndl dot read. Now I hope that you know, yesterday we have studied some sort of string functions, and I already told you guys that strings is one of the most important topic when you talk about Python, correct? So there is a special operator called as in operator to check whether particular string is present inside another string or not. So currently data is our string, because once you read the data from a file, now your file, the complete data is available in the form of strings to you. So I can check it like this: if trainer in data. So if trainer in data, that means if trainer is present inside the data or not. So if it is present, I can say print yes, present, else print not present. Please end कर दिया, present. else print not present, not present, something like this. Now let me execute this. As soon as I executed this, because trainer is present inside my data, it's giving me yes present. Or if I go and change the word, maybe I'll give the name as Rahul. If Rahul is in data, now as if I execute this, it's saying not present. Simple enough. Now here, this Rahul or trainer, this kind of words we are defining by ourselves, right? So either you can define by yourself or maybe take it from user. So I just say value is equals to input, enter anything to search. So enter anything to search and I'll just say value is in data. So if this particular value is present inside the data or not. So if I run this code now, it's asking me enter anything to search. Let's search for Mahesh. It's saying yes, Mahesh is present inside a file. Let's run it and I'll just say Rahul. So it's saying Rahul is not present inside a file. As we have completed one basic example inside files, so how to deal with the files we have already covered now in our program, correct? Now there will be an assignment, there is an assignment for you people. Write a Python program to check or to count the total number of lines inside a file. Write a Python program to count total number of lines inside a file. What will happen if we do not close the file? Sakshata asked a question over here. What will happen if you do not close the file? Ma'am, file is available as a resource. Now, when it is available as a resource, nothing will happen. Your program will go on continue, like it will work like as it is working normally, right? But that particular resource will not be available for anyone else to access. So that's why you have to close the file always. So I just go fndl.close. This is important always, correct? So now assignment for you people. Here we have seen how to find a particular word inside a file. You have to write a Python program to count the number of lines inside a file. Write a Python program to count the number of lines inside a file. Assignment number 1. Assignment number 2, write a Python program to count the number of words, like number of words inside a file. Okay, let me do the assignment number 1 for you, right? So maybe if I wanted to count the number of lines inside a file, I'll just comment all this over here. So I'll just go over there and write a code. Fndl is equals to open and I'll give the file name over here. So what is the file name? readme.txt. My agenda is to count the number of lines. So I'll just say a counter over there. Counter is initialized to 0. Initialized to 0. Done. Then I'll just go and say for line in fndl and I just say counter is equals to counter plus 1. That means increment the counter and simple print counter. So if I just say print counter 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 and now as if I execute this, so here like in this particular file I have 4 lines. Maybe if I add up one more line, so maybe you can pretty like easily you can see over there or hello all, something like this. And now as if I execute this program, sorry, you can see I'm getting 5 because there are total 5 lines are there. So guys, as we have counted number of lines inside a file, please you guys, all of you, please do try or maybe try with a Python program to count the number of words inside a file. How to count the number of words inside a file? That is great. That is great. How you can count the number of words inside a file? A small hint for all of you. You can use split function, right? Read a data line by line, split the data into words and run another inside for loop, another for loop to count the number of words. Okay. So try to do it by yourself or else today at 6 p.m. I'll be available for your question and I will provide you the solution for this particular assignment. Correct? 6 p.m. Okay, for all the active members, those who are active in my video lectures, for you people, I'm going to create a new WhatsApp group. So I'll share the link with you all soon. Correct. So that's it for files. We are done with the file operations. Now, a small understanding, a very basic understanding related to files, and we will also understand what is with statement in files. This is most important for all of us. So let me draw the same diagram what we have studied yesterday for variables. I hope that you remember, right? This is one of the problem that I always face whenever I make some software for my client. So recently when I was developing one software for HP, I hope that you know HP Enterprises. I was making some project for them, and I faced one problem. So let's see what kind of problem I faced in that and what was the solution for that particular problem. So let's start with the basic drawing. Okay, so let's start with basic understanding or the common problem that you guys are going to face when you deal with files. As if you know that we do write a code in HD, that is our hard drive. That code will first go to your RAM, and from your RAM, the code will then go to your cache memory here, and then cache memory provide this particular code to your processor. So it will go to your processor. Correct? Perfectly okay, perfectly fine. Now, as I discussed with you yesterday, I explained you this thing that as soon as you declare a variable, maybe a is equals to 10, it will automatically occupy the memory itself. Like for a, there is a memory which is automatically get occupied inside your RAM. Correct? And then this will go to your cache, and from cache to processor, and perfectly okay. Now this is the actual reason. Okay, specifically to PUBG boys, those who love to play PUBG. Even I installed PUBG. Maybe few days back I installed it. सर मेरी प्रॉब्लम तो सॉल्व कर दो. रिएक्ट की पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम है यार. ठीक है, चलो I'll solve it later on, बाबू. स्किल इंडिया. ठीक है. Now let's try to understand what exactly is the problem over here. And this is the common problem when you play with PUBG also. You know, in many of the devices where the RAM is pretty low, like maybe if they have a 2 GB RAM or 3 GB RAM, and if you try to play a PUBG, in that, it becomes very slow, very slow. Why that thing happen over there? Let's try to understand why that thing happen in PUBG and why this is a problem with us also in our program. Correct? Now suppose I have a RAM of approximately 2 GB. So I have a RAM of 2 GB. Correct? Fine enough. Now I try to open a file, but the file is a log file. The size of that file is approximately 10 GB. Correct? 10 GB. Now as soon as I declare a variable f and l, so I just say f and l is equals to open something like this and go on, and I specify the file name which is like having a size of 10 GB. What it's going to do now, it's going to occupy 10 GB in your RAM. It's going to start occupying 10 GB in your RAM. Oh my god, sir, I have the capacity of 2 GB only. Yes, you have a capacity of 2 GB, but your program is trying to create a space for 10 GB in your RAM. This will close your software. Unfortunately close, or memory out of memory exception. So there will be a problem, out of memory exception, that you are trying to load a data which is beyond the limit of your RAM, beyond the limit of your memory, and you are not allowed to open that file. Now guys, if I am trying to open a 10 GB of file and inside a RAM of 2 GB, can any of you tell me the solution? What can be the solution to open a 10 GB file inside a RAM of 2 GB? How can I do that? I cannot increase the RAM capacity. That is not possible with me because I am working inside an organization and that company do not allow me to do so. Then yes, we can perform the multiple operations. Ashwini ma'am, guys, in the chat section you can reply me back. What can I do? What is the solution for this particular problem? Waiting for your output. Swap space, virtual machine, virtual memory, split, part by part. Pushpapal, this is correct. Part by part can be one of the option. Assigned by virtual memory, no. Loads in multiple parts, decrease the size of a file. Not possible, Sati. It's not possible for me to decrease the size of a file. Virtual memory, no. Split it. We can compress the 10 GB file. No, we cannot compress. Gunjan. Compression, not possible at all. Divide the file in parts. Great enough. Modules. Virtual memory, we can split the file. Okay, for counting words, we can count number of space characters and subtract. No, it's not like that. Umesh, you are applying a logic in correct direction, but it's incorrect. Actually, it's incorrect. Sorry. Load in part by part in memory. Great, that's correct. So we do have a solution that instead of reading the complete file all at once using F and L, you can divide this particular file and read part by part of this particular file and store inside a RAM, which allows you to operate and will allow even cache and processing also. Fine enough. So how we can achieve this? How we can achieve this? This is the most important thing for all of us to understand. So guys, how you guys can achieve this? Now what is the solution for this? Let's go ahead and try to understand what is the solution for this. What you can do over here, guys, as we are reading a file over here, I'll just copy this particular code, copy, and I'll just comment this particular code. So comment start and comment end over there only. Let me open a file over here. So let's open a file, and now not over here, not over here. You don't have to open a file and put inside a variable, because as soon as you're opening a file and you're putting inside a variable, you are doing a same task. That means you are occupying that particular space inside your RAM. Then what is the solution? Now what is the best solution over here is directly say for I, or maybe for I in open, and I'll specify readme.txt, something like this, and I can just say print I, and you're good to go. Simple enough. So when you say for I in open readme.txt and print I, or maybe line, you can specify line in open, something like that. So what is happening here? Basically, it's loading line by line inside your RAM. It's not loading the complete file. It's loading line by line. Oh my god. So line by line is like every line is going to be for some KBs or maybe for some MBs. Correct. Whereas the complete file is in GBs. So now in this time it's going to load line by line, and here you can see the output, guys. If I just say click through. So here you can see the output. I'm getting the file output over here line by line in the same manner. But now this is not the perfect solution, because it is not allowing me to close the file. I can open a file, but how can I close it? So that's why in Python we have another statement called as with statement. Now what is with statement? I would love to explain you what is with statement. So here you can see with open readme.txt as F and L. Now with statement is specifically to deal with your memory related problem, and now maybe I can read the data, or maybe if I wanted to perform line by line operation, I can perform the line by line operation. So maybe I'll just say for line in F and L, and now I just say print line, something like this. So this time you don't even have to close it. You don't have to close it. So if I just say run, so here you can see I'm able to read the data line by line with the statement. So this is another way to open a file with the statement. With the statement is pretty intelligent statement. So you can use with the statement over there. Correct? We are done with file operations. We are done with functions. I would love to comment everything over here. So let's start commenting from here till here, and all good to go. So commented everything. So we are done with functions. We are done with file operations. Now we are going to talk about data structures in Python. So let's start with data structures in Python. Data structures in Python. So I just specified data structures in Python. Correct. Now guys, what exactly comes under data structures in Python? When you say a program, basically a program consists of two things. Either the program will consist algorithms, or the program will consist data structure. Now what does come under algorithms, and what specifically comes under data structures? So let's try to understand. Whenever you are applying a logic and performing some sort of operation, that comes under algorithms. Whenever you are managing a data or understanding how to store the data, that comes under data structures. Great enough, cool enough to understand. Correct. Now, as you have seen that we have performed some sort of operations, all these operations comes under algorithms. Whereas what comes under data structure, the way to store the data, that comes under data structure. And when you say Python data structures or data structures in Python, there are basically four types of data structures in Python, majorly which we personally use always, right? First is list, second is dictionary, third is tuple, and last but not least is set. So let's try to understand what are lists. Let's go ahead and try to understand what are lists. Now, first of all, let me start with the definition of list. As I believe that all of you belonging to some sort of programming background, even if you do not belong to any sort of programming background, you must be knowing about arrays. Let me give you the definition of array. If you go with any other programming language, let's say like maybe if you are using C programming or C++ programming, or maybe if you are using Java programming, there is a concept called as array. Now, what is array? Array is a set of elements having same data type. Array is a set of elements having same data type. Exactly same the concept of array in Python. As Python does not have any sort of data type concept. Now what is list? List is a collection of elements having any data type. List is a collection of elements having any data type, whereas array is a collection of elements having same data type. Correct. So let's try to create a basic list just to understand the list. Okay. So maybe if I say school friends, so I'll just give them elements inside this school friends, Mahesh, Suresh, Ganesh, Ramesh. So this all are my school friends, and this is how you can declare a list. Sir, is it compulsory to take always a string inside a list? No, it's not compulsory. You can take any value. So maybe if I can add like 12, 23.4, it's okay. You are allowed to use it. Sir, how can I access this single values? If you ever wanted to access single values, so just say, maybe I just say print school friends of 0th position. Now, what exactly is list? List is a linear data structure, whereas the index values for all these values are default. That means Mahesh will be like at 0th position, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So if I just say print school friends of 1 position and so on. Now, as if I execute this, you can see I am getting Mahesh, Suresh, and so on. I can get it. Oh, sir, that means you are saying that I am able to access single elements. Yes, you can. You are allowed to access single elements. Sir, but can I access all the elements by using for loop as we are able to do with strings? Yes, you can. You are allowed to do that. So just say for I in school friends. Now, if I just say print I, you can see one by one I can access all the elements. So if you run it, you can see over there Mahesh, Suresh with 0 and 1 position, Mahesh, Suresh, Ganesh and Ramesh all at once. So I can access with for loop, or I can access single elements by using 0 and 1. That means by index values. Okay. Now this is how you can read up. Now one more statement that we used yesterday for strings. We have seen that strings are immutable. That means you cannot change a single element of a string, whereas which is not true with list. Lists are mutable. That means if you ever wanted to change any particular element, like in place of Mahesh, I want to make it Rajesh, right? So I just go over there and I'll say school friends of 0th position is equals to Rajesh, something like this. And now as if I print, I just say print school friends. Now you can see now Mahesh is replaced with Rajesh. So then let's execute this. And here you can see my list is having Rajesh, not Mahesh. So what does this mean? This means that lists are mutable, whereas strings are immutable. So I have one list with me, that is school friends. Okay, let me give comment to all other code over here. So comments, 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 multi-line comments, 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 at bottom comments, 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 and all good to go. Now let's go with college friends. So I'll give the name as college friends, friends. Friend is equals to. So now I can add the college friends over here. Neha, Jaya, Sugandha, Dolly, the Rekha, something, and maybe one more missed over there. Megha. Actually, Megha from Polytechnic, Dolly from my engineering, Sugandha from my engineering, Jaya Neha from engineering, Rekha imaginary. Correct. So we have two lists over here. Uh, my voice is not audible. Guys, how many of you are facing the problem of voice? Are you guys facing a problem of voice? I was like Shubham. During that time, I was having hairs, na. That's why all the friends, girls in college. Prajwal. Oh, like, am I audible to you all? No, no, no. Acha, 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 acha. Acha, acha, acha. Okay, let's continue with it. So let's go ahead and I'll do like how to perform list concatenation. As you do the concatenation with your strings, just specifying or by using plus operator, similarly you can do a concatenation with your list. So maybe I can just say all friends is equals to school friends plus college friends. And now if I want to print, I can just say print all friends and I'm good to go. Now as if I execute this, right click, run, and here you can see I have a list of all friends which includes Mahesh, Suresh, Ganesh, Ramesh, Neha, Jaya, Sugandha, Dolly, Rekha and all. All the friends are in all friends now. So this is how you can do a concatenation. Now after concatenation, let's talk about list slicing. Now, if I want to extract Suresh and Ganesh from my list, so Suresh is at one position, Ganesh is at two position. How can I extract it? I'll just say print all friends from one position to two position. But I hope that you remember, I told you it's working as a for loop in the back end. So for I is equals to 1, I is less than 2. Less than 2 is again 1. So I want to make it less than 3 so that I can include Suresh and Ganesh. Correct? Now if I print this, so let's execute this, run, and as soon as I execute this, you can see I got Ganesh, Suresh and Ganesh over there. If I wanted to change this, I can change it like if suppose I don't know the end point, it's okay. Just say print all friends of, maybe I know start point but I don't know the end point. It will take the last element by default. So my last element is Mega. You can see started with Suresh, last element is Mega. Sir, if I don't know the end point, if I don't know the start point, so if you don't know the start point, just specify all friends and all friends of, maybe if I say 5, so the first element it will take the zeroth position. Now as if I run this, you can see I'm getting from Mahesh till Neha, I'm getting it over there. Now if maybe I don't know the start and end point both, so I just say print all friends and I'll just specify a simple colon over there and I'll run it. You can see now it's all friends where from Mahesh to all, because if I don't know the start, if I don't know the end, it's going to take start as 0 and end as the last element of my list. Pretty cool, pretty easier till this. We are done with some basic operations over the list. Let's go ahead with some more operations over the list. If you ever wanted to find a particular element inside a list, so if I wanted to find whether Mahesh or maybe Neha is present inside a list or not, so you can print, or maybe I just say print Neha in all friends. So if Neha in all friends, so as if you check the, it will check for the Neha whether Neha is present in all friends or not. Now as if I execute this, you can see it's giving me true, that Neha is present in all friends. You may run a if conditions over there. If Neha in all friends. So as if you say Neha in all friends, now print yes, else, sorry, else print nope, something like this. Now as if I execute this, it's one of the same thing, true, and it's printing yes because Neha is present in all friends. None, done. So here we have seen in operator. Similar to in, we do have another operator called as not in to check whether particular element is not present inside a list or not. Correct? So that's it for the basic operations over the list. I would love to comment all this over here because I'll give this file to you all at the end of the session. So I'll share the Google Drive link in my WhatsApp group. Okay, so those who have not joined the WhatsApp group yet, you can join at whatsapp.maheshrakheja.com. So just go to this URL and you will be in my group. And those who are already in the group, be there, be there. That's it. And for all the live people, those who are attending my class regularly, I created a new WhatsApp group and I'll share that WhatsApp group link with all of you soon. Correct. So we are good to go with the list operations. We have seen some in and not in operators till now, and we have seen list slicing, accessing single elements, accessing all the elements, or changing the elements from a list. Now as a string in the list itself, we have many functions. Let's try to explore some of the functions from a list. So I just say print dir. I hope that you remember dir, correct? And inside this dir, I'll just say maybe I'll add up list of something like this, dir of list, and as if I execute this, so here you can see add and blah blah blah. There are many functions available, including len function, len. We have seen this len function yesterday in strings, right? So similarly, len function is there with your list also. You just go and say print len of all friends. So if I want to check the length of all friends, so len में len है, कहीं भी और कुछ words नहीं है. So as if I run this, you can check it out over there. I got the value as 10. So that is len of all friends. It's going to give me the length of my complete list. So there are many more functions over there. I would love to explore or explain you some of the functions over here. And there is one guy who asked me like how to do a reverse print and all. That's your own task dear, programming jungle. You can do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. And maybe if you want, you can use this function. We do have a reverse function. So can you please explain the predefined functions of the list? Yep, I'm going to explain it now. Unfortunately, it's me. I'll explain it now. So don't worry about it. So now let's try to understand some inbuilt functions of list. So let's go ahead and I'll just comment all this, comment all this, commented, comment, done. So let's try to understand some inbuilt functions of the list. Suppose I have a list with me, my list is equals to list and I make this list as a blank list. So there is nothing inside the list, it's just a blank list, correct? Now, when I have a list with me, fine enough, fine enough. Now, when I have a list with me, I want to add some values inside a list. So how can I add some values inside a list? If you ever wanted to add a value, just specify mylist.append and maybe you can add like Mahesh, mylist.append, then you can add maybe Ganesh, mylist.append, and you can add like Suresh, something like this. And if you ever wanted to print it, just say print my list. And now as if you execute this, you can see I'm getting Mahesh, Ganesh and Suresh. Fine enough, cool enough, good to go. Whereas if suppose I wanted to remove any particular element from a list, so you just say mylist.remove, and as if you say remove, I want to remove Suresh, so specify the value. And now if I just say print my list, and now you can see Suresh is no more present inside your list. Sir, it's okay, that's fine. I understood it very well that how you can add a value, you can add the value by using append, but it's always going to add the value at the last point. I don't want to add the value at the last point. I want to add the value in mid, like over here at one position. Currently Mahesh is at 0th position and Ganesh is at 1 position. I want to add some value at my 1 position. So let's go ahead and how to add the value in my ones position. So I just go over there and I'll say my list dot insert. So this time you can write insert. Where you want to add? I want to add 1. And what do you want to add? So I want to add maybe richa, something like this. Oh my god. So इसी बोलते हैं ना गर्लफ्रेंड्स आ गई, दो दोस्तों के बीच में लड़की आ गई. Now I just say print and I'll just say print my list, and now as if I execute this, now you can see Mahesh and Ganesh were good friends, but suddenly Mahesh got a Richa over there and no more Ganesh. Harsh. So this is how you can add a particular element inside a list. So if you ever wanted to add a particular element inside a list at particular location, you can use insert. Sir, but with remove, you removed by using the value. Can I remove an element by using the index value? Yes, you can remove it. Like I don't want Richa should be there anymore now. So just go over there and say my list dot pop. So if I say pop 1, so as if I run this code now, okay, sorry, I have to print it. So I just say print my list, and now as if I execute this, you can see Richa is no more present inside a list. Oh my god. A small recap: append to add the values inside a list at the end, remove to remove the value based on the values, insert to insert a element at any position inside a list, pop to remove the element from a list. There is a question from Shubham. Sir, how can we print the last element of the list using split? As it prints one element less. So you print, okay, how can I print the last element of a list? Okay, I'll explain you now. कल जो आपने असाइनमेंट दिया था वो 3 टाइप्स से सॉल्व होता है बाय यूजिंग स्लाइसिंग. ओके प्रणय, मे बी मेरे को भी याद नहीं है कल असाइनमेंट क्या दिया था, बट या वी कैन डू इट. चलिए आगे चलते हैं. देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन बाय शुभम बासे. ही इज आस्किंग लाइक हाउ कैन आई एक्सेस द लास्ट एलिमेंट. सो मे बी ही इज सेइंग लाइक दिस, फॉर आई in my list, not my list. So Shubham. So let's consider. Currently, I have 2 elements with me, Mahesh and Ganesh. How can I access the last element? It's pretty simple. Range, 0th position, and 0 to. This is 0th position. This is 1 position. So I can specify till 2. So and as if I run this, I say print I. And here you can see Shubham. sorry. I have to get the values right. So maybe I just say my list of I, and it's going to give me the value. So you can see I'm getting Mahesh and Ganesh over there. Any difference between pop and remove? Yes, Vishal. There is a difference between pop and remove. Pop will remove the value based on the index, whereas remove will remove the value based on the value. What is the difference between remove and pop? I already covered it. Remove is going to remove the value based on the value, whereas pop is going to remove the value based on the list. So based on the index. One is index, Suresh's value. Yep, Mr. Umesh Reddy. Oh my god, Umesh Reddy is giving an answer. Great. So let's go ahead and move further. That's it for list, guys. We are done with the list. I do recommend just go and say dir of list, something like this. Run this particular line, this particular statement in your own code, and get the list over there. Dir of list. You will get the list of functions. Do execute those functions and try to understand each and every function inside your list in order to make yourself perfect inside a list. So I'll just comment all this whatsoever we have studied so far. Commenting everything over there, correct. So we are good to go. We are done with the list, and I'll just give the heading to this, and I'll just say this is list, correct. Now let's go ahead with dictionary. So let's try to understand what exactly is dictionary. Yes, you can append all elements at once by using plus concatenation. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand dictionary. Now, first of all, let's try to understand what exactly is dictionary. What is dictionary? So guys, I would love to explain you the difference between list and dictionary. Yes, you can print it by using AND. Prithviraj Jadeja. Okay, that I covered yesterday, Prithviraj. So, oh my god, just a second. Okay, let's continue and try to understand what exactly is dictionary. So, let's try to understand what is dictionary. First of all, let's try to understand what is list in more better manner. Correct? Basically, list is a linear data structure. Now, what does this mean? Linear data structure. So, linear data structure means like if suppose I have a element, like I have list of element, that means I have element number, maybe it's having Mahesh, Suresh, then maybe Ganesh, Rajesh, and so on. Correct? Now, what does this mean when you say list is a linear data structure? Linear data structure, linear data structure is like this is an element, and by default we know the index value. So the index value for Mahesh is going to be 0 because they are linear. So index value for Mahesh is going to be 0, index value for Suresh is going to be 1, index value for Ganesh is going to be 2, whereas index value for Rajesh is going to be 3. Because it's a linear data structure, the index values will be fixed. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on like this. Correct? Now what are dictionaries? Oh, what are dictionaries? Basically in dictionary the index values are not fixed. That's why we don't, where we call that the dictionary is a non-linear data structure. Now what is the meaning of non-linear data structure? This index values are not fixed. You have to give the value for the index and you have to give the value for the value also. Maybe I can give an index as 3, 3 is having Mahesh. I can give the value as 8, 8 is having Ganesh, and so on. I can give the index as single quotes Rahul. Rahul is having 1000 value, and so on. So in this case, this we call it as key. This we call it as key, and this all are values. So that's why dictionary is always a key value pair. So this dictionary is always a key value pair. So this all are keys and this all are values. Key is considered to be an index and value is considered to be value for it. Key is an index, value is value. Here the key is default. In list the key is default, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Correct? Whereas in dictionary the keys are not default, so we have to specify the keys, we have to specify the values. In other languages, like if you talk about PHP, we call this as associative array. Correct? In Java we call this as hash map. So and in Python we call it as a dictionary. So let's clear everything and go ahead and let's try to understand how can I declare a dictionary. So let's move ahead with dictionary. I'll just go to PyCharm and let's start with dictionary. So if I wanted to declare a dictionary, maybe I'll declare a dictionary as employee is equals to. Now one thing that you have to understand, list always starts with square brackets, correct? Whereas dictionary always starts with curly brackets. You have to specify the key, my key is Mahesh. You have to specify the value, my value is 1000. My key is Suresh and my value is 2000. My key is Ganesh and my value is 3000. Sir, this is how I can declare a dictionary. That's fine. But how can I access an element inside a dictionary? If you ever wanted to access an element, just say print employee and specify Mahesh inside it. And now as if I execute this, you can see I'm getting the value as 1000. Because Mahesh is a key and 1000 is a value. Now let's go ahead, maybe I just say print employee of Suresh. Again I'll say print employee of Ganesh. Now as if I execute this, you can see it's going to print 1000, 2000 and 3000 for me, whereas I'm just giving a keys and I'm getting the values out of it. Sir, that's fine. I understood that how we can access the single element by using dictionary, correct? But sir, what about for loop? In list, we can run directly a for loop and access all the elements all at once by using for loop. Can we do the same with dictionary? Yes, you can do the same with dictionary. Sir, how can I do that? Just say for, maybe I can say key in employee. Now, as if you print, just say print key, so you'll be able to access the keys over here. So if I run this, you can see key. Sir, is it something that you're getting, you have written the variable name as key, that's why you're getting key? No, it's not like that. You can give the variable name as whatsoever you want. So maybe if I give the variable name as I, and here also if I give the variable name I, actually when you are running a dictionary by using for loop, it always gives you key only, not as a value. Now as if I execute this, you can see these are the keys. If you ever wanted to access the values out of this, so specify comma and I can say employee of I. So this is a key and this is dictionary of key. So now when you run this code, you can see this is key and these are the values based on it. Great enough, sir. We have understood it very well. Correct. Perfectly fine. Now, how to search for a particular element inside a dictionary? So if you ever wanted to search for a particular element inside a dictionary, same as we have done in operator with your list, so same in operator is available for your dictionary too. So I'll just comment all this. Comment. Now, एक प्रिंट में सारे एक्सेस कैसे कर सकते हैं? एक प्रिंट में, अरे यार इट्स सिंपल, जस्ट से प्रिंट एम्प्लॉय एंड यू आर गुड टू गो. ये लो सारे आ गए एक प्रिंट में. चलो, सो लेट्स गो हेड एंड क्या कर रहा था मैं भूल गया, क्या पढ़ा रहा था मैं भूल गया. ओके, इन ऑपरेटर. If I ever wanted to check whether a particular element is present inside a dictionary or not, whether a particular element is present inside a dictionary or not, so how can I do that? It's pretty simple. If Mahesh in employee, simple enough. So it is going to check this word with your key, if this particular key is present inside a dictionary or not. If it is present, it's going to return you the value as true, and I'll print over there yes present, else print not present. Simple enough, good to go. So yes present, else not present. Now let me execute this. Mahesh is present inside a dictionary, that's why it's giving me yes present. I'll change it and make it Rajesh, something like this. Rajesh is present in my dictionary? No, not present. So I'm getting an output as not present. So similarly to in operator, we have not in operator. So now as if I execute, it will give me yes present. Why? Because not in is like this condition is getting true and we are getting yes present, something like that. So this is what dictionary is. Sir, how can I add a new value inside a dictionary? So let's try to understand how you can add a new value inside a dictionary. If you ever wanted to add a new value inside a dictionary. So let's see, how can I add a new value inside a dictionary? Okay. Employee of Rajesh. Okay, first of all, I'll print the old dictionary over here. So I'll just say print employee and I'll add up a new keyword over here. Rajesh is equals to 5,000. And now that's it, how you can add a new value. So just say print employee again. Now as if I execute this, let's execute this, and here you can see this is my old dictionary and this is how I added a new element to it. Sir, how can I remove a particular element from a dictionary? Simple, just say del employee of Rajesh. So when you say del is something like to delete a particular element, and now as if I print, I just say print employee. Now as if I execute this, you can see this is the old dictionary. I added Rajesh inside it and I removed Rajesh from it. Great enough. Sir, what exactly is the advantage of having dictionary? Why we are preferring this dictionary when we have a list and many other things? So why we are preferring a dictionary? Can we access a key with value as we can access value with key? No dear, it's not possible. Yeah, but there are some inbuilt functions and I would love to explain you all those inbuilt functions. Just allow me few minutes more. Let's go ahead with this, and now we are actually going to use or understand what is the actual utilization of dictionary. This is one use case that I'm going to explain you, but there are many more use cases available for dictionary. So let's go ahead and try to understand more about dictionary. Suppose I want to count the occurrence of each word inside a file. So suppose if I have a file with me like this, readme something like that. Okay, better I just take a, okay, this is the file. I have something written over here. I hate you, like I love you, I hate you, like I love you, something like this. So I have some data with me inside a file, and I want to count like what is the occurrence of I, the total number of time I occurred in my file, total number of time hate occurred in my file, total number of time you occurred in my file. So I wanted to find the occurrence of each word inside a file. So how can I do that? So let's try to understand this. So I'll first read the file. So I'll just say fndl is equals to open readme.txt to read the data. Now let me read the complete data. So I just say data is equals to fndl.read, which is going to allow me to read the complete data, and I want to count the occurrence of each word inside a file. So if I want to find the occurrence of each word inside a file, correct? Yes. How to find a occurrence of yes, unfortunately it's me, dear. Yes, you can delete the entire dictionary by using del employee, correct? So let's go ahead with this, where we are learning about read the data. So fndl.read, fndl is equals to open readme.txt, data is equals to fndl.read, which allows me to read the complete data. Now I want to find the occurrence of each word inside a file. So how many times like Mahesh came inside my file, how many times something came inside a file. So occurrence of each word inside a file. How can I do that, right? Basically I do one thing. I'll just take a list. I'll say words is equals to data dot split. I hope that you remember the split function, which is going to split the particular file or the complete data for me for all the words. So I'm going to get all the words over here inside this, correct? And now I'll just create one more dictionary here. So maybe I just say my dict, my dict dict is equals to dict. Dict is an normal function over here for creating a dictionary, dict dict. Maybe you can declare or create a blank dictionary like this, or maybe you can create a blank dictionary like this, something like this. So open and close curly brackets, or maybe just dict, something like this. So you can give it like this or like that. And once you are done with declaring my dict is equals to as a dictionary, now check if, okay, not here, I'll just say for word in words. So I'm going to read single word from all the words. So it's going to take single word from all the words if word in my dict. So I'm going to check if word in, so better I'll make it if word not in my dictionary. So if the word is not present in my dictionary, then I would love to add this word. So I'll just say my dict of word is equals to 1. Simple enough. So I just added a word. That means if the word is not present in my dictionary, just add the word inside the dictionary and give the value as 1. Else my dict of word is equals to my dict of word plus 1. Simple enough. Pretty cool, pretty easy. So now my logic is pretty clear. I'll explain you once again. Just wait for a few minutes. I'll just say fndl dot close and my job is all done. Now what I'm doing here, let's try to understand this particular program line by line. First of all, I'm opening a file by using open readme.txt. Then I'm reading a file fndl.read, which allows me to read the complete data from a file. I have a data in the form of strings with me over here. Now I'm splitting the data by using data.split, which converts my strings into list of words. Then I created a blank dictionary. Then I am calling for word in words. That means take single word from the complete list. If word not in my dict, that means if the word is not present in the dictionary, add that word inside the dictionary and give the value to 1. So this word will be added to my dictionary and the value will be assigned to it as 1. correct? Now else if the word is already present, that means if not present, then add it and give the value to 1. If the word is not present, then take the previous value of it plus add 1 to it and put back again the inside the same dictionary. Now if I go ahead like this and if I just print, if I print over there, I just say print my dict, and now let's execute this program. And as soon as I execute this, you can see Mahesh occurred for 1 time, is occurred for 2 times, and so on. Whereas hate occurred for 2 times, you occurred for 2 times, like occurred for 2 times, love occurred for 2 times. You know, in one of my last class when I delivered this session on Python, right, and when I explained this thing to count the occurrence of each word, not getting, sir. Wait for a few minutes, you will understand. Correct. So when I explained this thing in my last class, one of my student, he went back to the home and he performed the same thing, everything same thing in Ramayan. So he applied the same on Ramayan just to calculate like how many times Ram word came inside a Ramayan. So like this he applied and he made it something like that. Okay, Sathi Banerjee asked me a question over here. Okay, one more time, describe the code. Let me explain you the code once again. Sathi, I'll explain you. Sathi Banerjee. Don't worry about it. Let me explain you the code once again. Line number 87, fhandle to open a file. Line number 88, data is equals to fhandle dot read to read the data from a file. Line number 89, words is equals to data dot split. What it's going to do here is, let's take an example. मैं यहाँ पे लिख लेता हूँ आप लोगों के लिए, right? So if suppose data is equals to, data की value आ रही है Mahesh is my name, something like this. So कुछ ऐसी वाली value मेरे पास data में आ रही है, correct? So अब मैं जब split लगाऊंगा तो split में क्या हो जाएगा? Words is equals to, it is going to be Mahesh then is then my, maybe like this, my name, something like this. So ये क्या हो जाएगा, आपका डेटा जो है वो स्प्लिट लगाने से जो ये पूरा का पूरा स्ट्रिंग है, whatsoever the complete string is there, it is going to be converted into a list. So we converted the complete string into a list. Now why we converted a string into a list? Because I want to take single characters over here, a single words over here. That's why. Then I have declared a blank dictionary. I'm taking single word from a list. Word. So for first iteration it will take Mahesh. Second iteration it will take is. Third iteration it will take my. Fourth iteration it will take name. So then when it is taking Mahesh, it will check whether Mahesh not in dictionary. Okay, if Mahesh is not in dictionary, add Mahesh in dictionary and assign the value to 1. If Mahesh is already there in the dictionary, take the previous value of Mahesh and add one more value to it. And last, I'm just saying print the dictionary, close the file. Simple enough. Now, as if I execute this, you can see I'm getting the output over there. Done. Okay. So I hope that we are very good, or we are done with the dictionary part. We have understood so far what exactly is dictionary and how dictionary is playing a role over here. Now I would love to explain you some of the inbuilt functions of dictionary. You can apply the same dir over the dictionary and you can get the list of dictionary functions also. I'll just comment everything over here. So comment everything, and let's go ahead with some of the dictionary functions over here. I'll create a dictionary over here. Thank you very much, dear TJ. Thanks. Most welcome, buddy. Pushpapal. Correct. So let's go ahead with this, and what I'm going to do now here is okay, I'm supposed to explain you the inbuilt functions of dictionary. One of the most important inbuilt function is uh, get. So what is get function over here? Let's try to understand what is get function over here. So suppose if I say I have a dictionary, my dict is equals to, where I have some sort of values inside it. So maybe I can say like it's having Mahesh, and the value for Mahesh is 1000, Suresh, and value for Suresh is 2000, and last is Ganesh, and value for Ganesh is 3000. Correct? So we have Mahesh, Suresh, and Ganesh with value of 1000, 2000, and 3000. Now, what exactly is a get function over here? Let's try to understand what is get function. If I say value is equals to mydict.get, mydict.get, I can specify search for Mahesh and specify the value as NA, something like this. And if I just say print value, now what is this get function is going to do here is, the get function will check if this particular variable, is present inside my dictionary or not. So I specified mydict.get. So if this particular variable is present inside my dictionary or not, if that variable is present, it will give you the value for that particular key. If it is not present, it will give you the output as NA. Simple enough. So currently Mahesh is available as a key. Now as if I run the code, you can see I'm getting the value for Mahesh as 1000. Now here if I give the value as like key is Rahul, whether Rahul is present or not. So you can see Rahul is not present, that's why I'm getting the output as NA. Simple enough. So what this get function is doing now here is, get function will try to get the value for that particular key. If the value for that particular key is present, it will give you the value. If the value for that particular key is not present, it will give you NA or whatsoever the default value you can provide over there. So simple as it is. I hope that it's clear with every one of you. Okay, so I hope it's all clear with every one of you with what is get function, right? Now there is an assignment. Implement this program, this complete program. Implement this program by using get function. Implement this program by using get function. Implement this program by using get function. Simple enough, good to go. Now some more important functions inside a dictionary. Okay, so some more important functions inside a dictionary. Function number 1, if you ever wanted to access all the keys, so keys is equals to, sorry, I'll just take this dictionary from here. So copy this, I'll paste it here. mydict.keys. So keys is equals to mydict.keys. It will give you all the keys. I'll just say print keys, correct? Then if you ever want to access all the values, you can run mydict.values. It's going to give you all the values. So if I say print values, you can run the same like by using for loop also. So for I or for key in keys, for value in values. NA is a default value, Prashant. Default value, you can give any value to it. Values is equals to mydict.values. It is going to print values for me, correct? Now similar to this, we do have items. Now what exactly is items? I'll explain you later on, not now. So let's execute this, and as soon as you execute this, you can see this all my keys, and this all are my values. You can execute the same by using for loop also. That's it for now. That's it for dictionary, and we'll move ahead with the next topic, that is tuple. Let's go ahead and try to understand what exactly is tuple. So that's it for dictionary. I'll just go ahead with tuple. So let's see what exactly is tuple. So tuple, tuple. Guys, there is nothing to learn in tuple. Basically, tuples are nothing but a list only, or maybe you can say tuples are immutable list. Tuples are immutable list. That means you cannot change the value for tuple. So they are like list only, but you cannot change the value for tuple. So if suppose I have a tuple called as t is equals to 1, 2, 3, something like this, correct? Now if you ever wanted to access it, you can say print t, and you are allowed to access it. So if you run it, you can go ahead with it. But in t, there is no inbuilt function. If you want to access single element, you can access like t of 0th position, t of 1 position. You can access the values, but you cannot change the values. You can access the values by using for loop, say for I in t, and if you want to print it, so just say print I, and you can access single values. So you are allowed to access the single values. You are allowed to do access single values like this, but you cannot change it. One more thing in tuples, if you want to assign these three values to three different variables, so maybe a comma b comma c equals to 1 2 3, something like this. Now you can run this. So if I say run, sorry, if I just say print a and I may say print b, so you can see it's going to print 1 and 2 for me. Simple enough, cool enough. If you say dir of tuple, you will not see any sort of function, because in tuple there is no function available. Then sir, when list is already there, why do we have tuple in Python? Basically, tuples are more faster than list, first thing. And second thing is, when you don't want it to perform any sort of operation, that means when you know the data is going to be fixed, a constant data where you don't want to perform any sort of operation, correct? So in that case, we don't prefer to go and use list. We prefer to use tuples in that case. Pretty simple, pretty cool, good to go. So that's it for tuples. Now okay, there is one more thing that I have to cover. Tuple 1 is equals to, I have some values like 2 comma 2 comma 2, whereas tuple 2 is equals to, I have some values like 2 comma 2 comma 3. And now how can I compare these two tuples, not couples. So I just said tuple 1 is greater than tuple 2. Guys, what do you think? Whether we will get true or false? We are going to get false. Why we are going to get false? I'll explain you. So it's going to compare tuple 1 and tuple 2. How do this comparison work in tuple cases? In case of tuple, this comparison do work element by element. It will compare first element with first element of this, then second element with the second element of this, then third element with third element of this. So first of all, it is comparing whether 2 is greater than 2, no. Whether 2 is greater than 2, no. Whether 2 is greater than 3, no. That means it's false. If suppose I change the value over here and make it 3, and maybe if I change the value over here as 4, fine enough. So in this first situation itself, okay, sorry, I'll just make the value as 2 and I'll just make the value as 4 over here, and this is 2, and maybe I have value over here maybe 5, something like this. So in the first iteration only, it will compare the element 1 with element 2, like this element with this element, and will give you the output whether 4 is greater than 2. Yes, you are going to get the output as true, no matter what other elements are. So this is how the tuple do work. And now if you ever wanted to perform any sort of operation on tuples, as I said that you cannot perform any sort of operations on tuples, correct? You cannot perform any sort of operations on tuples. So what you do, or what we specifically do, is we convert the tuples into list, and then we do perform operations on that particular list, and then maybe we convert back that list to the tuples. Majorly we don't prefer to use tuples when you have to perform an operation, but when you don't have to perform an operation, when you don't want to perform an operation, in that case we use tuples. Now one thing which is left with dictionary, and that I left it intentionally just to explain you what exactly are tuples. So let's go ahead. So if suppose I have a dictionary with me, my dict is equals to like this, and my dictionary have some sort of there is a function called as items. So maybe if I say items, items is equals to my dict dot items. Now what this items is going to return? Item is going to return me a tuple of key value. So now if I just say print items, I don't know whether I'm even allowed to access it like this. Okay, you can see I'm getting a list which is containing tuples. So here is the list containing tuples, my key and value, and key and value, and key and value. So we have a function in dictionary called as dot keys. We have a function in dictionary called as dot values. Similar to that, we have a function in dictionary called as dot items, which is going to give you a list of tuples. Sir, can we compare A, B, C with tuple 1 means 3 variable with 1 variable? No, you have to compare it single. Sir, in tuple 1, 3 has 3 elements, whereas tuple 2 has 2 elements. The how to compare? It's going to compare element by element, no matter what number of elements you have in it. So maybe if you have like, let it be as 2 elements only, and I'll just delete all this. Delete this, and now even if this is there, I'll run this, and you can see it's working like that. So it's going to compare element by element no matter what number of elements you have. Simple enough. This is a dictionary. We have covered the items as a function inside it, and we are good to go. That's it for tuples, guys. That's it for dictionary. That's it for list. That's it for today's lecture. I hope the lecture was good. Lecture was okay for all of you. You have understood it very well. A quick feedback is expected from all of you. Please give me a quick feedback in the chat section. And second thing, we are left with set. Set is pretty easier, and consider set as an assignment. So you have to learn set by yourself. I covered list, dictionary, and tuple. You have to learn set by yourself. Correct? Learn it. What is set and what is the difference between list and a set. Correct? So learn about set, and that's it for today's lecture. Guys, I know that you all are in my WhatsApp group, and we do have like approximately 5 different WhatsApp groups. All the groups are full, where every like you all are there in group, and where I have to send lots of messages in that group daily. Like, I'm coming online, your class is going to start, will be start in like something in some time, blah 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 blah. Correct? So instead of putting in 5 groups, I feel it very tough. Like, not tough exactly, but I feel like, why not to make a single group? Correct? Now, so if I want to make it a single group, then I have created a single group on WhatsApp itself, and I want all of you be there inside that single group, right? So I'll share a group link with you now over here, and request you people to join me in that group. Unfortunately, it's me. What's your name, dear? Unfortunately, it's me. What's your name? So I'll just share that WhatsApp group link with you, and request you all people to join me over there, where you all will be there as a precious student for me, because you are joining me regularly, right? So I'm just sharing a link with you all. Just shared the link. Om. Om, please tell me your full name, dear. Thank you, Sudeep. Even I'm feeling good. Today's lecture is a bit better than yesterday's lecture, I think so. So guys, I just shared a link with you all. Just click on this link now, and you will be there in my precious WhatsApp group, and this group will be active, like this link will be active for next, maybe you can say next 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes you have to join this group. I already shared the link inside over here inside the chat section. So just click on that link. Oh, sexy session. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake in it. I know it's not working. http:// now this is working. I just made a another group. So guys, this link will be live for next 10 minutes only, and after 10 minutes it will be all done. I'll revoke the link. So all of you are requested to join that WhatsApp group within 10 minutes. So thank you very much, guys. Uh, it's good. Like, I enjoyed the session a lot. We'll meet again tomorrow, and our tomorrow's agenda is to learn about object-oriented programming. That is OOPS, and we'll learn about OOPS, that is object-oriented programming, and